also found, my God, a European plug, which is not what we need. I'm going to shove that in the hole. Oh dear, that's just gone well. Hello and welcome back, and today I am going to show you how to decrystallize your honey. Now, does your honey always look like this when it gets a little bit cold, or it's been in a jar for quite some time and it crystallizes up? Well, this is for you. Maybe not for the general people buying it, but if you make honey, this is going to be a lifesaver, because I've done it. I'm sure everybody else has done it. The long, boring and inefficient way of putting it into some warm water and letting it decrystallize that way. This is going to save us a shed load of time and money, hopefully. That's the plan. Efficiency is what we want. So, what we're doing, I've got an old fridge freezer. I've taken the freezer bit out by grinding that out. I mean, it does look a bit of a state, I'll admit, but this is only temporary. If it works, great, I can get a nice looking fridge. This cost me nothing. Yeah, I was able to pick this up from one of our neighbours, and it cost me absolutely nothing. The door is a little bit buggered on it. You can just about see that there. So when we shut it, it's a bit lopsided, but all you need to do, because it's got a magnet, it'll just pick itself back up. But it still swings out and it's still okay. Now, you kind of need a way of heating it. So how are we going to do that? With a halogen light. Halogen lights are, in my experience, a lot hotter than LEDs. Like this is LED up here. I know it's in plastic, but it doesn't radiate a lot of heat. Halogen lights do. They are notoriously inefficient at using energy, but they turn that into heat, and we're going to utilize that. So why did I pick a fridge or a fridge freezer? Mainly because of this insulation. This is all the way around it, and that's what's going to keep our honey nice and warm. We're not going to be heating it past 40 degrees centigrade, or I think that's like 104, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know, somewhere in between that. So we're not going to be heating it massively. It is a slow process, but my idea, we just leave it on overnight. And you can make one of these too for less than £100. So I'll show you what I have bought. So I've got a light cable to go inside. That is a necessity, you need that. I've also bought a thermostat which has a temperature probe, I think that's what it is, a temperature probe, on the end of it. So when it does reach to my desired temperature, I mean, if we just plug that in, so we can see currently it is 17.5 degrees in here. So yeah, once it's reached its designated temperature that I've set it at, which will probably be about 40 degrees, if it can hopefully get to that, the light will turn off, it will switch off, saving us electricity. So the only thing running will be the thermostat, which is fine. And now that's not a necessity, but I want it to be more efficient. And I've also bought a gaming fan, or a computer fan. This is to circulate the air going around. So if you didn't have that, it would still work, but you get a hot spot at either the bottom or the top, wherever your light may be. So the fan is there just to push all the air and circulate the air around, so it's a nice even temperature everywhere, which is kind of what I want. Again, you don't need that. I've seen a lot of videos where they haven't bothered with this and it does work, but I mean this was only like, I think it was £17. This was £22, and that was, I think, £13. So all in, it's well under 100 quid. Especially, so even if you were to buy that for, like, say 50 quid, it's still going to be under £100 for a warming cabinet. I mean, if you were to look on like Thorn's website or Abello, their warming cabinets are, you know, hundreds of pounds. So this is a real money saver. All it's going to take is a little bit of time. I'm not the best with electronics, but this is pretty simple. So if I can do it, you can do it at home too. And I think I'll just do a step by step. I've already drilled a hole in there, so it's going to come through there. So I'm thinking fan, light, thermostat, because I'm going to want to have the thermostat temperature probe the furthest away from the light. I think that's what I want to do anyway. Now the first job will be to put the light in. Now obviously my hole isn't going to fit that. I mean, it could do, but I don't want it to. So I'm going to have to either splice the cable in two, which I don't really want to do because I'll make a hash of it, or I could just unscrew the terminals, I think they're called terminals, and just try and remember which way round they go. And you'll note it is not plugged in, so if you are going to do this at home, don't be a moron and don't plug it in before you play with it, because I've been that moron. I've done it with a shower and I got the shock of my life, and it hurt when I went to the toilet. So just don't do it. You know, learn from me, don't do it. It really did hurt. Especially, I also have wet hands as well, because who would have thought water and electricity go hand in hand. So yeah, I need a flat screwdriver, and I might take a picture. Always do take pictures of cables and where they go, because even if it is just two cables, the likelihood is you got a 50-50 chance you're going to get it wrong, or I will get it wrong anyway. So again, learn from me, take note, take pictures. This is now in where I want it to go, so I think I'm just going to like rest it somewhere. I don't know, I need to figure that bit out. But yeah, always take note, and we're still not plugged in. I can't stress that enough because it bloody does hurt. If you are playing with electrics, just don't even have the plug in. Even if it's in and switched off, don't do it. You know, don't be one of those people. Don't be me, because you do learn very quickly what not to do. Anyway, health and safety brief over. I'll pop the light in, make sure it does work, and try and find somewhere to put it. See you in a bit. Okay, so I've just stuck it to the top there. I'm hoping that'll be okay. It should be okay. And I'll put the bulb in. We have our plug, and then we'll just pop it in the thermostat. And then hopefully, oh hey! I mean, I don't really need that, but we have it. There we go. We have light, which is the most important thing. So if that's all you wanted to do, there you go. There is your honey warming cabinet, but we're not going to finish there because we are putting in a fan as well. If anyone wanted to know what that fan is, it's called up here fan. But I did notice when I bought, I mean, the reason why I bought it was it's got cables like that, so I can just shove that in the hole and not have to cut anything. But I have just opened it and also found I got a European plug, which is not what we need. So I'm now going to have to, yeah. So I know all we've got is 3-pin into 2-pin, you know, English into European or American or whatever. So I'm going to have to go find who would sell a 3 to 2? I'll be right back. And we're back, and I have found a 2 into a 3. an hour of my life are just wasted. Do check that when you're buying something. Although I did have a look, double check on my phone, it definitely had a 3-pin plug, not 2-pin. But anyway, for £5, I should get myself one of them. So we're good. And there we go. There is the fan leading out the same hole there. You can see that I've got stands to go on top of it, so there's a bit of an airflow around the back. That is quite important, because if you put it straight on the top of it and it's trying to spin, you're not going to suck any of the air around. So effectively you're making like a vacuum where the fan's trying to suck from, so there's going to be no airflow. So even just having a little gap like that will do the world of good. Now, as you can see, it goes out through there. It has got a controller, just plugged it in, so we'll press on. Look at that. I hope you can see that, but that is spinning. I think that's on its lowest setting, so I can. Oh yeah, so I think that's max speed. Yeah, and I can feel it all the way down to the bottom, which is good. So that is working perfectly. And then we have our light as well. There we go, look at that. So that essentially is all. But now we have our thermostat. So it's currently reading at 16.5, but that's just because I've been moving this about. So as I say, this is the temperature probe, I think. I'm going to shove that in the hole, put it right down in the bottom corner, so hopefully we'll get a nice solid reading. And there we have it. So I got my start temperature on 35 degrees centigrade, and then off temperature 40 degrees, and it's currently 17.4. And that has already gone up. It was, there you go, 17.5. So that means it's working. Now, if that light couldn't produce that amount of heat, I can always add more lights in, or just change the light bulb. I could get a heat lamp, but I don't really want to do that because they do suck energy. Whereas one of these, it should be okay. I have got another bulb in here. I mean, these are just from Tesco, so they're like £5 or something. But there you go. There you go, look at that, it's rising rapidly. And that is all it is. So I'll pop my temperature probe right at the bottom there. That light is definitely warm, and that fan is blowing the air down. So all I'm going to do now is give that a bit of a clean out. I'm only putting 6 jars of honey in there just to start off with, just to make sure it works, and then if it does work, fab. Why spend hundreds of pounds on a warming cabinet when you can make one for less than £100? Let's find out how it works. So it is now, I think, 4:30. I'm just about to pack up, and it's currently 33.7 degrees centigrade. So it's still climbing. We did have a bit of an issue in the afternoon. The bulb did fall from the top, and it broke the bulb. So yeah, I had to replace that with the other bulb. Luckily I had two. So it is now just currently hanging down, but it is warm, and it is starting to liquefy. Oh dear, that's just not gone well. We are back. It is, I think, 3 days after I made the warming cabinet operational. We have had a power cut, so I did come back the following day, and it had all crystallised back. But it's been running again, so it's been 3 days now. It is currently at 37.4 degrees. I think that's climbing.